Hello,
Dorado.
Ungoogleable.
New York resident
Welcome to
Omar
your life.
Eduardo Rivera
Today
was
is
unfortunate
beautiful.
enough to
Please
find
log in.
himself on the 71st floor of the World Trade Center North Tower when the hijacked airliner struck the building 25 floors above him. Mr. Rivera, a computer technician who is blind, was in his office with his guide dog Dorado lying under the desk at the time. Blind owner seated with dog Dorado at foot, Omar Eduardo Rivera and Dorado. According to the Contra Costa Timus report published today, Mr. Rivera described how he unleashed his faithful friend, so that the dog might escape. But despite the chaos and the crowds of fleeing people, the 4-year-old Labrador Retriever suppressed any selfish instinct for survival and instead stayed by the man's side and guided him to safety. Mr. Rivera describes the drama. "I stood up and I could hear how pieces of glass were flying around and falling. I could feel the smoke filling up my lungs and the heat was just unbearable. Not having any sight, I knew I wouldn't be able to run down the stairs and through all the obstacles like other people. I was resigned to dying and decided to free Dorado to give him a chance of escape. It wasn't fair that we should both die in that hell. I thought I was lost forever. The noise and the heat were terrifying, but I had to give Dorado the chance of escape. So I unclipped his lead, ruffled his head, gave him a nudge and ordered Dorado to go. I hoped he would be able to quickly run down the stairs without me and get to safety. I thought he'd be so scared he'd run. Everything was in chaos. Glass was shattering around my head and people were rushing past down the stairs. At that point, Dorado was swept away by the rush of people fleeing down the stairs, and Mr. Rivera found himself on his own for several minutes amid the pandemonium. But then the unexpected occurred, in the form of a familiar, fuzzy nudge from knee-high. Mr. Rivera explains, "He returned to my side a few minutes later and guided me down 70 flights and out into the street. It was amazing. It was then I knew for certain he loved me just as much as I loved him. He was prepared to die in the hope he might save my life." Inside the egress stairwell, they found some additional assistance from a co-worker. I took hold of her arm. "She went down on my right side and the dog on my left," says Mr. Rivera. The narrow stairwell was extremely crowded, and confusion exacerbated the situation. People were pushing and shoving past me. Everywhere there was a sense of terror. But according to the man, order gradually prevailed. Most people behaved quite prudently and grasped what was happening, so we walked down in an orderly fashion, but it was slow going. It was slow going because there were so
Thank
many
you for
people
logging
struggling
out.
to get up, but
Today
Dorado
was
kept
a
nudging me
wonderful
down
day.
step by step.
Please come back
It took-
tomorrow. Red, blue, green. Congratulations.
You reject the good enough. You reject words like symbolism and postmodernism. Obsolescence is not part of your vocabulary. Every night, every day, every step of the way, the diktat of fashion, the agenda of the colloquial. Gone. It takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. I repeat, it takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. Good. That is very good. We are source decoded. For you. For the most perfect moisturizer. The most advanced cosmetic lineup. Scientifically proven, scientifically tested. For you.
Congratulations. Calibration completed.